So we all have dreams to live life in the most magnificent, idyllic situations and circumstances where life is filled with joy and happiness and tranquility, serenity and peace. A beautiful life. And all of the lifestyle magazines glorify the opportunities of being in the most idyllic situations. An African sunrise in the bush, a sunset cruise on the Caribbean, surrounded by the most magnificent scenery and the most idyllic situations. That would make life so worthwhile. But Torah speaks about life in terms of values, in terms of meaning, and in terms of eternity. Real life. Not just life that is living it up, but life that is living it better. And there's a beautiful scene towards the end of the book of Genesis, which we conclude this week, and we say the words, Chazak, Chazak, let us take strength and be strengthened as we conclude the book of Genesis. And the end of the story of the building of the family of Israel before we transition into the challenges of nationhood and the birth of our people. And Jacob is on his deathbed. And he calls together his children. He says, "Hey, Asaph, will gather together my children." And he begins to give them blessings and individual life, purpose, and goals for each and every one of his children. But the Midrash tells us that just prior to that, he's anxious. He's in a difficult mindset. And he talks to his children and he says, "Is there any one of you, my children, that is not committed to the values of our family?" I know that my father Abraham had a child that was the most magnificent child, Isaac, but he also had another child. And so did my father Isaac have a magnificent child, Jacob, but he had another child. You, my children, all 12 of you, my sons, what is your focus in life? Are you committed to the values of our people and of our family? And at that point, all the children, diverse as they were, with different strengths and different potentials, united to say the words, Shema Yisrael, listen Israel, and that was the name of their father, Israel. Listen Israel. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. And it is then that Jacob said, according to the Midrash, the beautiful words, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto L'Olam Va'ed, may God's name be blessed forever and ever. Now he could introduce the words forever, not just in the moment. Now we have something in perpetuity. We have a commitment to the future as well. And that is the greatest joy of a father, Jacob, surrounded by his family, committed to the values that had been established by Abraham and for all of the portions that we've read over the last weeks. And that is in fact why we say the words Baruch Shem every day in the Shema. We say it silently because it doesn't appear in the Chumash as given by Moshe Rabbeinu, but it was said by our father Jacob at his deathbed. May God's name be blessed forever and ever. Real life and meaningful life is when we sense and feel that there is a tomorrow, that there is a purpose, that there is a value, and that there's a reason for living. And we so often give our children the feeling and the sense that life is about living it up, is about having the best time, is about finances. Whether we're actually saying the words or not, but somehow making a living has replaced making a life. As important as it is to be financially strong, that has become a goal sometimes to the detriment of the relationships that we try and build in our family. And so Jacob is saying a very important message relating to life and to living, that if we want to define our lives really, it's not about how we can set up the most tranquil circumstances, about having the best time in life. It's about having meaning and purpose and continuity and a promise of tomorrow that is filled with hope and filled with a future so involved with the joy and the happiness of established values that are perpetuated. And so the book of Genesis concludes with a portion of Vayechi, which is, and he lived. A strange name for a portion that talks about the death and the passing of Jacob, and he lived. Why would we call it "and he lived" if he was passing away? Because he lived, and he lived on, and he gives us the meaning of life. And the elixir of life is not a potion that gives us this eternal feeling of joy and happiness with superficial things that make us happy. The elixir of life is when our families and our children continue to embrace values that are meaningful and important and give us the real nachas of the meaning of life. So may Hashem give us the ability and the strength to focus on the important things in life, the real important things of life, real living, Vayechi, which transcends death. It is forever and ever when we have families that are so established and so committed to the perpetual, eternal values of Am Yisrael and of Israel. And this week we have a very strange phenomenon that we go straight from a fast day, which is the fast day of the 10th of Tevet, which remembers the siege of Jerusalem in the first period of the first temple by the Babylonians, which led to the destruction of the first temple, which led to so many travails and difficulties that surrounded our lives throughout history and even today. And from that fast day on Friday, we emerge straight into Shabbat and we make Kiddush and we have the festive meal of Shabbat. It is a transition from siege mentality, from pain, from difficulty, from memories associated with so much difficulty, and we emerge into the joy of Shabbat, which speaks about happiness and eternal bliss and eternal joy. May Hashem transform all of the pain and the suffering and difficulty in our lives, in our people, in the world, and bring about the Shabbat that is the healing of everything with the coming of Mashiach and a world redeemed. Have a beautiful Shabbos.